Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're tackling one of the biggest questions we've ever asked. Are we alone in the universe? We're going to explore the pretty unsettling idea that we just might be. And we'll do it by looking at the search for life through a framework of cosmic hurdles, or great filters, that make our own existence look like a complete and utter miracle.
So, it all kicks off with a really simple question. Picture this. It's 1950, and the brilliant physicist Enrico Fermi is at lunch. They're chatting about aliens, and he does the little back-of-the-napkin math in his head and asks something so simple but so profound it's been haunting us ever since. Where is everybody?
Because this is the kind of number Fermi was wrestling with. And believe it or not, this is a conservative guess for how many stars are in the observable universe. You've got hundreds of billions of galaxies, each with hundreds of billions of stars. I mean, the chances for life to pop up should be practically endless, right? And yet, what do we hear? Nothing. Absolute radio silence. No signals, no signs of massive alien empires, just quiet. This giant contradiction between the insanely high odds for life and the total lack of evidence, that's the Fermi paradox. And it points to a pretty chilling idea, that we aren't just special, we might be an almost impossible fluke. So let's break down why that might be. Our first great filter is just about location, location, location. It's about winning the astronomical lottery. And finding a planet that can actually support life is way, way harder than you might think. Just take a look at this. It really shows you how picky life has to be. 3/4 of the stars out there are red dwarfs, and they have a nasty habit of blasting their planets with deadly radiation flares. On the other end, you've got the big blue giants that burn out way too fast for complex life to get going. Our star, the calm, stable, long-lived sun, it's in a tiny 7% minority. We started out lucky. But even with a great star, being in that so-called Goldilocks zone, not too hot, not too cold, isn't a free pass. I mean, just look at our next-door neighbors. Venus is a toxic, boiling hothouse, and Mars is a frozen wasteland. Earth is the sweet spot because of a whole bunch of other things going right, like plate tectonics that act like a global thermostat and a magnetic field that shields us from harmful solar wind. You need the whole package, or it's game over. And our luck just keeps on going. It extends to our whole solar system layout. We have Jupiter, this absolute monster of a planet that acts like a cosmic bodyguard, sucking in or flinging away asteroids that would have otherwise smashed into us. And then there's our moon. It's unusually huge for a planet our size, and it's absolutely crucial for keeping Earth's tilt stable, which prevents the kind of wild climate swings that would just obliterate any chance for life to get a foothold. This whole setup might be incredibly rare. All right, so let's say a planet just somehow wins the astronomical lottery against all odds. Will it then run smack into the next great filter, the biological one? The jump from simple, basic life to complex life is another gigantic hurdle. This is a wild one. For something like 2 billion years, life on Earth was, well, it was just simple bacteria. Pond scum, basically. The evolutionary leap to the complex cells that make you, me, every plant, every animal, every fungus, that might have happened exactly once. A total freak accident, where one tiny cell swallowed another one, but instead of digesting it, it put it to work. That new part, the mitochondria, became the power plant for everything complex. It might have been a 1 in a trillion shot. This timeline just hammers that point home. I mean, just look at that gap. For nearly half of Earth's entire history, life was just stuck as simple slime. That suggests that the universe could be absolutely teeming with microbial life on countless worlds, but they're all stuck at that first simple stage, never making that incredibly difficult leap to complexity. Okay, so you've cleared the astronomical hurdle, you've cleared the biological hurdle, but there is absolutely no guarantee that you're going to get intelligence. The emergence of a brain that can build a radio telescope is our third and maybe the most surprising filter of them all. You have to remember, evolution's goal isn't to create geniuses. It's just about survival. And the dinosaurs are the perfect proof. They dominated this planet for 165 million years. That's an almost incomprehensible stretch of time. And they were wildly successful. But in all that time, not one of them ever invented the wheel, let alone a radio telescope. Being smart like us isn't the finish line for evolution. Our specific brand of intelligence, the kind that can do science and build technology, it seems to have required this incredibly unlikely cocktail of traits to all evolve at the same time. You need complex social groups. You need hands that are good enough for fine tool making. You need complex language for abstract thought. And you even need a social structure that helps raise kids to fuel their ridiculously energy-hungry brains. If you're missing just one of those ingredients, we'd probably still be up in the trees. But okay, let's imagine a species does it all. They clear every single one of those hurdles and develop technology. Well, this brings us to the most famous and the most chilling concept of them all, the Great Filter. This is the idea that there's some challenge out there that is so hard to overcome, it stops virtually every civilization from ever going interstellar. Now, here's the truly terrifying thought. What if the Great Filter isn't behind us? What if it's still ahead of us? The cosmic silence we hear might not mean that intelligence is rare. It could mean that intelligence is tragically and consistently self-destructive. As soon as a species gets smart enough to invent things like nuclear weapons, or uncontrolled AI, or planet-altering technology, it might just create a near certainty of wiping itself out before anyone else ever gets to hear from them. So this brings us to a really profound turning point in the conversation. If we even consider the possibility that we've already somehow passed through all the biggest filters, then the silence of the universe isn't a sign that we're lonely. It's a sign of our profound and maybe terrifying responsibility. We have to remember we've got a massive selection bias here. We are looking at the universe from the one data point, us, where everything went just right. Of course, the universe looks perfectly tuned for us to exist. We wouldn't be here to observe it otherwise. You only get to see the winning lottery ticket if you are the winning lottery ticket. And if you really let that sink in, it leads to a truly staggering thought. If we are this rare, then we represent something unbelievably precious. For 13.8 billion years, the universe is just unconscious matter and energy doing its thing. But through us, through our science, our art, our music, our curiosity, the universe is, for possibly the very first and only time, becoming aware of itself. The Great Silence, then, maybe it isn't really a mystery about them at all. Maybe it's a reflection of our own improbable, fragile, precious existence. It's like a mirror held up to all of humanity, and it leaves us with the ultimate question. If we are the cosmos's only way of knowing itself, what on earth are we going to do with that chance?